Tonight, who killed Caleb? A father pleads for answers after a young Adelaide chef dies from injuries suffered before crashing his car.
Also, NAPLAN meltdown. Thousands of South Aussie students caught up in a massive IT glitch.
What's brought fresh hope as police return to the SA outback in their search for little Gus Lamont.
How much it'll cost to feed your family at the footy, and what's new at Adelaide Oval.
And Crows forward Riley Thilthorpe's race to prove he's fit to face Collingwood, plus how power star Jason Horne-Francis will handle the Roos boos against his old side.
Live from Adelaide, this is 7 News with Rosanna Mangiarelli and Will Goodings.
Good evening. A major manhunt is underway in the southern suburbs tonight after an aspiring young chef was killed in a car crash.
Police have declared his death a major crime, revealing he'd been assaulted before slamming his car into a Stobie pole.
Emergency services swarmed Golfland View just after 1:30 this morning to reports of a serious crash, but police soon discovered something far more sinister had occurred.
It's very concerning. We'd like to know what happened, just to know that we and obviously our little families are safe.
The driver of this BMW, 24-year-old Caleb Liriano, died at the scene, just 100 metres from his home.
The detective told me is that there are some injuries, so the setting is not consistent with an accident.
Caleb's death is being treated as suspicious and has been declared a major crime. We know that Caleb's injuries are not consistent with the motor vehicle accident, and I'm confident that they are the result of an assault.
Caleb's father, Mike, devastated by the loss of his firstborn son.
As a jovial young man from Kenya who was pursuing his Australian dream, and then, it just didn't happen.
Police believe Caleb attended a planned meeting at nearby Sapphire Reserve before his death, where detectives and the SES spent hours searching this afternoon, but were unable to find any items of interest. 2
addresses have been searched today, and there are several people who are assisting us with our inquiries.
Neighbours have told 7 News a Good Samaritan found Caleb unresponsive, providing assistance until paramedics arrive, giving some comfort to his father.
I'm proud of that, and I'm extremely proud,
Police are urging any witnesses to come forward as the young man's family searches for answers.
I love him, I miss him, and he's been my son.
Jonathan Edwards, 7 News.
Tens of thousands of South Australian students have been caught up in a major IT outage on day 1 of NAPLAN testing. Years 5, 7 and 9 couldn't log on to their writing assessment, but our Education Minister insists the online system is still the way to go.
At Brooklyn Park Primary School,
it's really strange.
The first day of NAPLAN testing was thrown into chaos as these Year 5 students were met with this error message. And they weren't alone.
I've just spoken to the NAPLAN people from the department, and they said it's not just our school, it's lots of schools are having a problem, so we're going to reschedule the test for another day.
In fact, more than 1 million students nationwide were impacted by the glitch.
I just think it's disappointing. The children were kind of ready to go, and then now obviously they have to stop and reschedule for another time.
The outage was resolved by 11 a.m, so children either started the test later or will do it another day.
Was she stressed about it?
Not much.
Okay. Were you?
Oh, yeah.
We completely understand that this has been a disruption in schools and apologise for that disruption.
All NAPLAN tests are conducted online with the exception of the Year 3 writing test. The Education Minister says the system generally works well.
What it does help us do, as opposed to pen and paper, is we get the results much faster.
Which allows schools to adapt the rest of the year's learning. Lauren Rose, 7 News.
A 50-year-old woman from Anglevale has been killed in a horror smash at Port Pirie. She was behind the wheel of a Hyundai station wagon which collided with a Ford sedan on 3 Chain Road around midday. The other driver, a 25-year-old local man, was airlifted to Adelaide with non-life-threatening injuries.
And Major Crash Police are also investigating a shocking accident at Virginia this afternoon. A ute and a Mitsubishi Lancer smashed head-on at a bend on Baker Road just before 3 o'clock. The road remains closed between Anglevale Road and Gawler River Road while investigations continue.
7 News can tonight reveal a property owned by Gus Lamont's family has been at the centre of a major police incident before. Detectives returned to the area today, searching new wells that have never been probed before.
Holding on to hope that answers are just over the horizon. 7 News cameras were there as the police task force investigating the tragic disappearance of Gus Lamont climbed the rugged terrain. This afternoon they honed in on new areas of interest, including several wells. It's the 10th search of the area since little Gus vanished without a trace more than 5 months ago. This region has seen intense flooding over the past few weeks, which has made it difficult for police to return until now. But the rainfall could be a positive now for detectives who are hoping it may have flushed out new clues.
The recent significant weather event up there with the rain we've had is leading to us assessing what other new opportunities might exist in relation to searching, but the current searching was planned.
Police today were searching near another homestead owned by the Lamont family, not far from where he went missing at Oak Park Station. 7 News can reveal it's previously been at the centre of another police incident.
A full-scale siege on an isolated property in outback South Australia.
Back in 2009, a woman living at the property was held hostage by a gunman. But now police are here for very different reasons, to find Gus Lamont. And they vowed to continue to return until they solve this tragic case. Hannah Ford, 7 News.
And let's cross live to police reporter Hannah Ford, who's near Yunted tonight. Hannah, detectives have wrapped up for the day.
That's right, Rosanna. I can tell you that some of the areas police are being searching today haven't thoroughly been looked at by them before. It's about 30 k's from the Oak Park Station property, but nothing of significance has been found yet. Tomorrow their focus will shift more to the family property itself. The team is expected to be here until the end of the week. Will.
Thank you, Hannah. Just 10 days out from the election, Chris McDermott has sensationally quit Sarah Game's Fair Go party, citing irreconcilable differences. It comes as a Liberal candidate is under fire for his views on same-sex marriage and abortion.
Chris McDermott shined as the Fair Go party's star candidate. Alongside leader Sarah Game, the duo seemed ready to tackle the field, but their play has fumbled after just 7 weeks.
I just couldn't work any longer in that environment. I felt too handcuffed, restricted.
The Crows legend was the party's lead for the upper house. With nominations now closed, he'll still appear on the ballot as a Fair Go candidate, but sit as an independent if he's elected.
There's no friends in politics. I think loyalty's hard to find.
Sarah Game telling voters to abandon her own party in the upper house.
I would actually suggest that people vote for the Liberal Party.
Who said she didn't have an eye for talent?
The Liberal leader scrambling to defend her party's candidate in the northern suburbs seat of Ryde. Carsten Woodhouse claims he's a strong and principled man.
Pretending that same-sex marriage is real, like it's not.
Labor says comments he's made on a podcast speak for themselves.
No argument for abortion. There is no argument. And even the whole rape incest thing. I would agree with Charlie Kirk's take on that.
The Liberal leader says she doesn't share Mr Woodhouse's views, but insists they're not extreme enough to disendorse him.
Ultimately, it'll be up to the voters of his community to judge him on them.
It's actually hard to believe that we are here having this conversation. It feels like we have gone backwards.
Labor accused of seeking a distraction, with Health Minister Chris Picton still under fire for not one but 2 patient privacy failures.
I think there'll be so many South Australians who would be feeling really violated right now.
Michaela Kamarek, 7 News.
In a surprise move in the fight for Iran's female soccer players, one of the 7 who accepted Australia's help is having a change of heart. But her decision to return to Iran has inadvertently exposed the location of her 6 teammates who chose to stay.
Part of the team's now infamous silent protest before coming on as a substitute against South Korea.
21-year-old Mohadesh Zolfi in her first Asian Cup.
Lioness striker Mohaddessa Zolfi had already embraced everything Australian while in Perth to play the Matildas in 2023. And last night, along with team official Zara Sultan Moshkeka, joining the other 5 players calling Australia home.
I met with them last night. They were physically and emotionally exhausted.
But with her other teammates safe and apparently happy in Malaysia, Mohaddessa Zolfi called several of them.
And had changed her mind.
Concerned about what staying would mean for her family in Iran, she called Iran's Australian charge d'affaires, Hossein Talebi, who collected her. But that created a big problem. The Iranian authorities now knew exactly where the other players were staying. Their safe house, suddenly unsafe.
I immediately gave the instruction for people to be moved.
The minister says he's satisfied the young striker hadn't been pressured.
This was her decision, and every question you would want asked was asked.
All the other players were offered humanitarian visas at Sydney Airport last night, and all declined. Iran's Football Federation president claiming those who have stayed are being held against their will.
In this incident, they are taking our girls hostage.
Rubbish, says the government, as Brisbane's women's soccer team says the Lionesses can roar with them.
For us as a football club, we want to give all of the ladies a home and somewhere to feel safe to play their football.
Looking at re-entering politics, Clive Palmer cashing in, offering them $10,000 each to kickstart their Australian lives with this challenge.
And I'd encourage other wealthy Australians such as Angus Taylor to join me and match my donation.
Not exactly a sporting challenge. Mark Riley, 7 News.
The US is bombing Iranian boats, laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz as the battle to secure global trade intensifies. As America unleashed its most aggressive day of attacks, the death toll across the Middle East has now climbed above 1,700.
In Tehran, the sprint for survival. Go, go, this man shouts as America hits harder than ever before. A volley of strikes that barely let up.
Our most intense day of strikes inside Iran.
More civilians are being swept up in this conflict. Here, a man shaken but alive is pulled from this Tehran apartment block, but not everyone made it out. This man's relative among 40 killed. America says Iran is running out of firepower, but the nation's most powerful weapon could be its geography, the ability to strangle the Strait of Hormuz. The US systematically destroying Iran's ships, one after another, taking out vessels suspected of laying explosive mines.
We will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard trains to take out ships. Cargo killers on a vital shipping route. And tonight, a second trade path is now under threat, while the Strait of Hormuz gateways a fifth of the world's oil, the Bab al-Mandeb Strait is also vital. Flow point from the Suez Canal for oil, household goods between Europe and Asia. It's called the Gate of Tears, where Houthi rebels have threatened attacks on world shipping if strikes on Iran continue. Iran still desperately fights back, here launching suicide drones and long-range missiles, most toward Israel. This one shot down over Tel Aviv. They are bigger than a bus.
Well, this is the weapon that has defined this war, the ballistic missile. This is just one fuel cell. They're usually more than twice this long. And more of them are carrying these. Cluster bombs.
Up to 50 of them each, 20 kilos apiece, and able to dodge Iron Dome defences.
You don't have any chance to survive.
Lethal too when they're intercepted and fall from the sky. It's unclear how many more Iran has. But as police delivered their briefing on Iran's missile threat,
siren.
Alarms warn of another incoming round.
Guys!
The briefing was brief. Everyone ordered to take shelter. In Lebanon, they have none of the defences. Israel strikes intensifying in the hunt for Hezbollah. Even Christian communities hit, with 700,000 people now fleeing their homes. The prayers for an end unanswered. In Israel, Chris Reason, 7 News.
And Chris joins us live now from Tel Aviv. Rezo, Donald Trump's been hinting at an end to the war, but it seems Israel may not be on the same page.
Good evening, Rosanna. Military analysts are saying that Israel is actually moving at a far more significant tempo than America is right now. In the last week alone, they've carried out 3 times as many strikes on Iran. The feeling here is that Israel simply does not want this war to end at this point. They see this as a great opportunity, a chance to degrade and destroy all of the military infrastructure and facilities that Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon has, and giving them more and more time to prevent an attack coming back on Israel. Rosanna?
All right, thank you, Chris. Now, petrol companies are being threatened with fines of up to $100 million for price gouging. Let's go live to Sarah Cumming at Theberton. Sarah, prices have continued to soar since the war began.
They certainly have, Rosanna, and tonight drivers across Adelaide are paying as much as $2.50 for diesel. This outlet here at Theberton, among the most expensive. Unleaded isn't much better either, with most servos charging around $2.20 a litre. And limits have been introduced at more outlets too. Spare a thought for motorists in regional New South Wales though, where unleaded 91 was $3.40 a litre this afternoon. The ACCC has today issued a please explain to operators, saying it will seek more detailed explanations for recent price and conduct during the Middle East crisis. Now, the Federal Treasurer claims that they are working with industry to fix supply chain issues.
The conflict overseas can't be seen as an excuse to profit off Australians. We are putting the petrol companies on notice. We won't cop big corporates treating Australian consumers like mugs.
The RAA is also calling for calm, with reports surfacing that cashiers are being abused by angry drivers. Now, the RAA says the current fuel situation is no excuse to abuse workers who are simply doing their job, and taking frustrations out on workers and panic buying is only making the problem worse. Will?
All right, thank you, Sarah. A Clearview man's avoided jail over a vicious one-punch attack in Hindley Street. The sickening assault was captured on CCTV. 25-year-old father of 2, Craig Sansbury-Wheater, punched Jordan Dodd in the head, stomped on his chest, then ran from the scene in August 2024. Mr Dodd had to learn how to walk, talk and eat all over again. Sansbury-Wheater was sentenced to 2 years and 4 months on home detention.
One of Adelaide's top criminal lawyers has broken his silence after fronting court on rape charges. Let's go live to Deanna Williams. Dee, he's vowing to clear his name.
Rosanna, 7 News broke this story in January, but we weren't able to identify him for legal reasons. Now we can tell you he's 41-year-old barrister Andrew Graham. Today he broke his silence after a brief first appearance before a magistrate. This is what he had to say.
Yeah, just briefly, I'd just like to say that these allegations are untrue. Unfortunately, because a person's made an allegation, there's a court process that I have to participate in. As part of that process, everything that I have to say has to be said in court.
Graham is facing 1 count of rape, which allegedly occurred at Parkside in January last year. He was arrested by detectives from SAPOL's Special Crimes Investigation Unit. Graham's defended a number of high-profile criminals, including cop killer Jaden Stimpson and notorious anti-vaxxer Raina Cruz. The case returns to court in May, with Graham still able to practice law while he defends these allegations. Will.
Thank you, Dee. Disgraced magistrate and convicted pedophile Peter Liddy has fronted court, arguing a bid to keep him locked up indefinitely should be thrown out. The court heard a report conducted in 2019 by a senior forensic psychologist found he was willing and able to control his sexual urges and therefore doesn't pose a risk to the community. Liddy's 25-year sentence for sexually abusing 4 boys in the 1980s expires in June.
The AFL is cracking down on its player drug policy. Players will no longer be given second or third chances if they test positive to illicit drugs, the controversial strike system being struck out. Urine samples will be replaced with hair testing, which can detect drug use weeks, if not months earlier. And the AFLW will be included for the first time. Negotiations between the League and the Players Association over when these changes will come into play are yet to be finalised.
All right, let's check in with Soder and what's coming up in sport.
Well, the Crows have confirmed they'll reveal 3 new faces on Saturday night against Collingwood. We're going to tell you who's been given the thumbs up from coach Matty Nix. Bryce Cotton put on another clinic to get the 36ers to within 1 win of reaching the NBL's Grand Final Series. And exclusive details of the new Supercars track at the Bend for the AirTouch 500. All that and plenty more coming up soon in sport.
Look forward to it. We'll see you then. Thank you, Soda. Now, the cost of feeding a family at the footy's going up. Adelaide Oval fans are being promised a new high-tech experience. That story's next.
Also, environmental protesters spell out a personal message on Grange Beach.
Also, a new leader takes the reins of the Nationals, vowing to fight for larrikins.
And ahead, star cricketers rub shoulders with golfing gurus at Kooyong. Well, the 2026 footy season will bring a new experience for fans at Adelaide Oval thanks to major technology upgrades. But it's not all beer and skittles, with food and drink prices going up again.
For Adelaide footy fans, little is certain, but each season an Oval price hike is just about guaranteed.
Every year it just seems to be an increase.
It's more expensive when I take my grandchildren.
I think that prices are going too high. I think that it should be a little bit lower.
Well, it does cost an arm and a leg to go there, doesn't it? So if it would be cheaper, it would be nicer.
Beer has cracked $11, $2 more than we were paying 10 years ago, while water is just under $6, up $1.10. A bucket of chips will set you back $7.20 as a suite of stadium staples receive a footy season bump, though pies, juices and milks are still capped at $5.
The cost of living element is in the forefront of our minds. We still have the cheapest pint of heavy beer of any Tier 1 stadium in Australia.
And he says the new prices come with a new promise.
Smoother access and faster access.
Upgraded digital turnstiles are expected to tackle the queues, while 3 mega screens have been upgraded for the first time since footy moved to the city. But footy fans will have to wait a couple of weeks to experience it, with Adelaide missing out on a round 1 clash for the first time since Port entered the league.
It's more a matter of scheduling between cricket and football, and we don't control the scheduling, so that's a matter for the codes.
I know we've got 2 in a row coming up, so it should be pretty good. Probably better if it was a bit cheaper, eh?
Kimberly Pratt, 7 News.
Matt Canavan says we need to fight to protect the Australian larrikin identity as he takes over as the leader of the Nationals following David Littleproud's shock resignation.
We need more Australian babies. We need more Australian humour, more Australian jokes. We need more Australian barbecues, sometimes often fuelled by fossil fuels. We need more Australian everything. We don't need to look overseas for our solutions.
And Clive Palmer is vowing to spam every Australian voter as he announces he'll run for federal parliament with the United Australia Party candidate in every seat.
Grange Beach was turned into a huge political billboard this morning as hundreds of people concerned about the algal bloom crisis gathered at dawn. Members of the popular Salty Sips swimming crew joined forces with Get Up and the Conservation Council to spell out a clear message.
I think the government has a huge responsibility to be monitoring these ecosystems and to be funding not only that monitoring but the recovery as well.
Organisers are calling for stronger action to protect our coastline.
Well, it's time for a quick check of the weather now.
And Casey, there's another wet weather system we're keeping an eye on.
That's right, guys. It is still several days away, but it is set to be significant given the big wet in the state's far northeast that has transformed the outback landscape into a lush green oasis. Floodwaters continue to flow into Karitunda Lake Air, a real sight for tourists taking to the sky. But there are more showers and thunderstorms to come with the potential for some really significant rainfall. Now, this
Its next system isn't due to reach SA until Monday. This time, though, at this stage, it looks like it'll mostly hit the far west. There is still plenty of uncertainty, though, in terms of just how much rain and where, given it is still 5 days out. Dry skies is the story for the city. I'll have more details on what's to come in the forecast shortly. Guys?
Thank you, Casey. We'll catch you then. Now, the stars of different sports have been getting into the swing with top golfers ahead of Australia's Women's Open at Kooyonga. That's next.
Also, passengers flee a bus blast tragedy in the heart of Switzerland.
The heartwarming moments, school kids set a freezing cold new world record.
And later, Seven's Mel McLaughlin explains her sudden disappearance from our screens. Our best cricketers have joined some of the world's biggest golfers a day out from play beginning in the Women's Australian Open. Travis Head made his return to Kooyonga among the star-studded lineup, up early for the shotgun start.
From headmaster to the apprentice, Travis Head only just escaped this bunker, perhaps thanks to his pro pairing, recent Classic winner Kelsey Bennett's tutelage.
Also, if she gets in the rough, I might be able to give her a few tips.
Football, cricket, netball and Paralympic royalty teamed up with golf's biggest names, Jake Fraser-McGurk and Kaiser Arverfuel.
I'll ask her about short game for sure.
Callum Ferguson and Darcy Harry.
They'll be probably carrying me. They'll have sore shoulders at the end of the day.
The gates swung open on the exclusive course this morning, Kooyonga in immaculate condition. The WPGA Australian Open is expected to attract 35,000 fans, while next year LIV will host more than double that.
It's a wonderful track and in phenomenal nick at the moment.
Former Test grade and Kooyonga member Greg Blewett has drawn 1 million social views in the past week on public pleas to track down his son's cricket bag, which fell out of his ute's tray. Today he was in the buggy recovering from an injured Achilles tendon.
I'm playing in a cart, so I think Travis might be a bit jealous that I'm in the cart and he's walking around.
Kooyonga challenging even some of our most experienced names, and the tournament hasn't even begun.
Tomorrow, all eyes will be on Minjee Lee, Grace Kim and Hannah Green to take out Australia's first championship win since 2014.
We all want our names on that trophy, so it means the world. It's been a while, so I hope 2026 is the year for us, so we'll see.
Hayden Nelson, 7 News.
All right, let's go overseas now. At least 6 people have been killed, 5 others injured when a bus exploded in western Switzerland. It happened about 20 kilometres from the Swiss capital, Bern. Tall flames engulfed the vehicle within seconds as panicked passengers tried to escape. Police are probing whether it was a deliberate act and haven't yet ruled out terrorism.
Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein have been depicted as Titanic lovers in a mysterious new art installation in Washington, D.C. Titled King of the World, a plaque underneath points out the similarities between the president's friendship with the pedophile and Jack and Rose's tragic love story, including raucous parties, luxurious travel and nude sketches.
A new world record's been set for the biggest ever simultaneous ice bucket challenge. Close to 1,000 shivering children made history in Melbourne for Neil Danaher's Fight MND charity. One lucky organiser of a community DIY big freeze like this one will get to slide in the main event at the MCG. Good on them.
One of our own bravely speaks out. Mel McLaughlin reveals why she suddenly disappeared from 7 screens next.
Also, Australia's Katy Perry takes down her pop star namesake in the High Court.
And later, what the war in the Middle East means for travel prices.
Hello, the market continues to pick up the pieces from last week's rout, although we're still down about 5% since the start of the Iran conflict. Banks and miners, especially gold, did the grunt work today. Now, mortgage holders, brace yourselves. 2 of the big 4 banks today tipping the RBA to lift rates next week and then again in May as the Middle East war pushes inflation into dangerous territory. How annoying are spam emails, especially when it's difficult to opt out? Activewear brand Lululemon has been fined $700,000 by regulator ACMA for sending 370,000 emails with no option to unsubscribe. The ASX 200 edged 0.5% higher today. Linus secured a major rare earths deal in Japan. Orabanda issued an impressive upgrade on an Aussie gold deposit. The Australian dollar surging to nearly 72 US cents.
Now, you may have noticed a Seven Sports personality missing from your screens this year, and we've been asked a lot over the past few months, where is Mel? Well, tonight, Mel McLaughlin is ready to tell her story.
Where do we want to go? This way?
I don't know.
This is a wonderful walk. You're coming and going from where? Up in the commentary box? Because my good mate, my workmate, is bouncing back from the fight of her life.
I was diagnosed with lung cancer in December, so that led to surgery. I've had half my lung cut out.
Hard to believe what you've just heard from one so fit, so full of energy, and a lifelong non-smoker.
It's just very traumatic. It's very triggering. It's just a lot of emotions. And also, you don't want to worry anyone.
Especially her family. Because Mel lost her big sister Tara to lung cancer a decade ago. To pass that news on to family around Christmas time is very tough. But you're trying to tell your mum and dad who've already lost a daughter, and you're trying to tell your nephews who've already lost their mum.
Yeah, because in our family, and this is, I don't want anyone to think that this is in our family, lung cancer meant death. We have one example.
There's the left lung.
Yeah.
And that's the tumour just over here.
There's another extraordinary twist to this battle, a reason we're back at the SCG, because Mel delayed her own surgery. She insisted on hosting Melbourne's Boxing Day test and then Sydney's pink test. She wanted to work. She needed time to process.
Everyone, unfortunately, touched by cancer, but everyone is doing their bit.
On Jane McGrath Day at the SCG, she helped raise awareness and money to fight cancer, while, in between stints in the middle, Mel rushed to get last-minute blood tests. Her own operation was just a day away.
I did the pre-game. I'll be honest, I didn't watch much cricket that day. I went out to a pathology centre, which was closed, so I was like, oh my God. So I've come back, done the lunch break.
So on one of the biggest days of our sporting calendar, you are hosting, you're in the middle, shuttling back and forth to hospital to get blood tests, and you've got major surgery the very next day. Mel knows luck was on her side, but she also truly believes
maybe that was my big sister. Maybe I got lucky. I don't know. I definitely think she was with me.
Looking out for you.
That's what they do, big sisters and big brothers.
Extraordinary story, and obviously in here in Adelaide, we're wishing her all the best.
Absolutely.
Ahead, what travel companies and airlines need you to know as the Middle East conflict throws holiday plans into chaos. How the ongoing war is expected to affect travel prices. Don't miss that story a little later in 7 News. Australian fashion designer Katy Perry has won her High Court battle against the international pop star who shares her name. In a majority decision, Australia's highest court ruled today the designer's brand was not likely to harm the singer's reputation or cause confusion. Katy Perry, the singer, will have to pay legal costs for the 17-year trademark battle. It's time for sport now. Soder, we're going to be seeing some new Crows in action.
Looking forward to some footy with our clubs here getting involved on the weekend. And coming up, we're going to tell you who has been given the green light to go for the Crows when they take on the Pies. Bryce Cotton enhances his already huge reputation as a big game performer with a monster haul for the Sixers. And getting up close and personal with the Supercars will reveal the Ben's new moves. Hello again, All-Australian forward Riley Thilthorpe has passed today's all-important fitness test and he's set to take on Collingwood on Saturday night. The Crows have confirmed 22-year-old ruck forward Toby Murray will make his AFL debut, while Callum Archie and Nathan McAndrew will play their first games for the club.
The day started with optimism and soon turned to confirmation for Riley Thilthorpe, passing the final test on his sore back with flying colours.
Yes, it's not the bash and crash and change of direction that you get in a game scenario, but we got enough work in that we're confident he'll be right to play.
The club's been weighing up risk versus reward with half a dozen players who missed the final pre-season hit-out against Fremantle. Nick's hinting his selection will err on the side of aggression.
How many do we want to take in and take that risk? It's one of those games where we've played some really good hit-outs against Collingwood. we want to take our best team over and have a real crack at it.
Callum Archie's 2 hamstring issues this summer won't keep the former Lion out. His club debut confirmed late today. Former Swan Lockie McAndrew will also play his first game for the Crows after ousting Riley O'Brien this summer.
Don't write Rob off at all, but in the same breath, Lockie's he's unique that he is super tall. 210. He's got a big jump on him. So from a centre bounce point of view, it's he's in a good position.
While Nick's revealed the club debutants, news of a first AFL game for Toby Murray was left to his brother Nick.
Muzzy, you were going to talk about how those backs are going to rotate?
No, I don't want to worry about that. The big bird's playing.
And the Crows could bring yet another Brisbane Lion into the family, launching a big money bid to land All-Australian Norwood product Zach Bailey. Josh Money, 7 News.
Power star Jason Horne-Francis says he'll embrace what's expected to be a hostile environment against North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium on Sunday. It's his first clash against his former side in Melbourne, and his mum will be heading over.
I might have to put a muzzle over it. She'll go back at him, I guarantee you. And Dad won't be there either, so he won't be there to hold her back. So she'll probably be going off at him if they start.
That's what we want.
Yeah, and former Carlton assistant Glenn Strawn will be the Power's new AFLW coach after Lauren Arnell stepped down earlier this year. Hawthorn coach Sam Mitchell is keen to move on from the fallout of the club's off-season trip to the US. As revealed by 7 News last night, Dylan Moore and Connor McDonald were arrested for trespassing. They ended up in jail and are still going through the court process.
It's not like this is a lingering thing from us. I know for you guys, this is the first time. You're exactly where we were 4 months ago. This is enormously disappointing, and we were there, but now we've moved forward.
The Hawks take on bitter rivals Essendon at the G on Friday night. And former Crows CEO Stephen Trigg is the new chairman of the SA Football Commission. He replaces Rob Kerrin, who served the maximum of 2 3-year terms.
12 months into my time as a commission to be elected as chair is actually pretty special and something, yes, I'm very proud of.
Yeah, as well as being CEO of the Crows and Carlton, Trigg also played for Central and North Adelaide and coached the Double Blues. The Adelaide 36ers are just 1 win away from the NBL Grand Finals series. Superstar recruit and 6-time MVP Bryce Cotton scored 42 points in the 7-point win over the Phoenix.
In their first home final in 8 long years, the 36ers took a major step in their championship journey.
The 36ers take game 1.
We made plays, and I think it's playoff basketball is about making plays, and sometimes it's just one more play.
After a 2-week break before Game 1, no one made more plays than prize recruit Bryce Cotton.
Oh my goodness. Rust! What rust are you talking about?
He played every single minute, getting it done from downtown and at the rim.
Unstoppable! The rim looks like a hula hoop to him.
I was just in flow state. Yeah, it's just wanting to win.
He finished with 42 points as the Sixers finished stronger than the Phoenix. Big man Nick Rakocevic was huge off the bench with 14 points and 10 boards. Game 2 of the best of 3 series is on Saturday in Melbourne. Tom Wilson, 7 News.
And Miami Heat centre Bam Adebayo made NBA history today.
Yes! And the foul!
Yeah, he scored 83 points against the Washington Wizards to surpass the late Kobe Bryant for the second highest individual scoring game ever. Kobe's best was 81. Wilt Chamberlain holds the all-time record with 100 points back in 1962. Miami thumped Washington 150 to 129. Well, the Matildas are wary of their Asian Cup campaign being derailed by a resurgent North Korea in Friday's must-win quarter-final in Perth.
We've seen how they've played throughout the tournament, so I think we have enough to prepare and enough to play against them and know where their strengths and weaknesses are.
The two nations last played each other back in 2016 when the Matildas won an Olympic qualifier 2-1. And 7 News can reveal that there will be a new track used for this year's AirTouch 500 at the Bend in September. It'll be contested for the first time on the shorter West Circuit, which will mean more laps, tighter racing and more aggressive team strategy.
It's good the fans were involved. That's what our sport's all about. We need to make sure that they're happy and they're enjoying it. Otherwise, we can't go racing.
Also, for the first time, fans will be able to camp inside the circuit on Pitt Straight. That is up close and personal with the action. That is our look at sport.
Certainly is. Good on you, Soder. Thank you for that. An overseas holiday is about to get much more expensive as soaring fuel prices are passed on to passengers.
The war in the Middle East is, of course, causing chaos for travel plans, but it's not stopping demand.
Flying overseas with some airlines is about to be more expensive. A shaky jet fuel price, up 58% in a week, means Qantas and Jetstar will increase the cost of international airfares by around 5%. Domestic airfares remain unchanged. Air New Zealand is raising airfares on all flights.
It's reflecting the uncertainty that airlines have. I mean, fuel is one of their biggest expenses.
No word from the airlines yet if they'll reduce airfares when jet fuel prices stabilise.
It really will depend on where these fuel prices end up, because I think we saw a huge leap on Monday and they significantly went back yesterday.
Despite 43,000 flight cancellations, demand remains strong. Qantas flights to London and Paris are more than 90% full. Passenger numbers up 15% on this time last year.
What seems surprising at the moment is that the Middle Eastern war doesn't seem to have put off people travelling by air. It's just changing their routes.
If you have a flight with a Middle East carrier coming up, the advice is do not cancel it. Wait until the airline makes a change. Otherwise, you risk losing rights to a refund.
I have, in a few weeks' time, a flight on Emirates, and I'm certainly holding on to it. I think I'll be surprised if things aren't back to some level of normality then.
Cricket teams have been stuck in India after the World Cup. The West Indies for over a week, flying out today on commercial airlines after constant charter cancellations. Blake Johnson, 7 News.
Now, a little Adelaide boy obsessed with garbage trucks has had his 5th birthday wishes come true. That story.
Weather-wise, a cool day with grey skies tomorrow, then warming up in time for the weekend. I'll be back with a full forecast live after the break.
Australia can't get enough of the biggest event of the decade.
This is where your loyalty should be, not with...
For Adelaide's latest news and more, tune in to Will Goodings and David Pemberthy on 5AA Breakfast tomorrow morning.
Well, time for more on the weather now with Casey, who joins us again.
And Casey, it was a significantly cooler day across much of the state.
It was, Will, but not before an epic and beautiful sunrise. These were the colourful skies over Port Wollonga, a stunning view over the hills at Mount Barker too, and it was a warm morning. Northerly winds kept the mercury above 20 degrees all night until the cool change swung winds around to a southwesterly sea breeze, and that dropped the temperature to around 19 degrees this morning, not far off the top of 22.8, and now it's dropped to around 20. Around the state there has been a few light showers down in the southeast. Mount Gambier picked up a couple of millimetres. Top temperatures mostly in the low 20s, especially across the south, and that's the result of a cold front and trough moving across. A high pressure ridge though will move into the south, and that will maintain our cooler southerly winds. Interstate tomorrow, Brisbane sunny and a top of 34, Melbourne a shower or two and 19 degrees, Perth 29. Closer to home, plenty of sunshine across the far north, up to 32 for Cooper Pedy, 25 for Port Augusta. Mostly grey skies the further south though, with isolated showers about the southern agricultural area, mostly about southern coastal districts. Becoming windy and a top of 23 for Whyalla, partly cloudy, and 24 for Renmark, 21 for Clare and Nariutpa. Cloudy and 22 for Murray Bridge, 19 the top for Victor Harbour and Kingscote, and just 18 degrees the top for Mount Gambier. Strong winds are forecast about western coastlines and the Spencer Gulf, and flood warnings do remain for inland creeks and rivers. For the city, down to an overnight low of 14, grey skies, heading for a top of just 23, 19 though for Mount Barker. On local waters, southerly winds to 20 knots turning southeasterly in the evening, seas to 1.5 metres. Looking ahead, cloud clearing and 25 on Friday, sunny skies and 28 Saturday, partly cloudy and 29 Sunday. We could see a shower or two on Monday though, partly cloudy, and 30 on Tuesday and up to 32 degrees on Wednesday. Now before I go, let's take a look at tonight's ray of sunshine.
It's the little boy with a birthday wish that's, well, a bit of a load of rubbish. 5-year-old Cade is obsessed with all things trash, so naturally it's been his lifelong dream to meet the local Garbo. His mum thought a personalised visit would be the perfect present.
It means a lot to the whole family, really, but more so him. He just loves garbage trucks.
The local council and Cleanaway coming to the party with a little vest, toy truck and some mini bins, turning trash into this kid's treasure.
I mean, I'd probably prefer a truck full of cows and a truck full of trash. However, happy birthday to Kate.
Happy birthday from us too, but I love that fascination. There are so many kids who do truly love garbage.
They're all trucks when you're that age. It's all good stuff.
Fun and games. That is all the news for now. We will have updates throughout the evening.
For all the Adelaide 17 for now, it is good night.
Good night.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.